We Richard Smith. John Knowles is with us too. John Pell might be.
That's right. It's a
joining
dance
later.
along.
Yeah. Oh, it's Georgie Girl. Yeah. Greetings. I see everyone's popping in now. Hey, Bunny, too. Oh, yeah. Hi. Richard, I'm so glad you were able to join us here, and John Knowles, too.
Yeah, me too. Thanks for having me.
Yes, we have right here 3 of the 4 members so far of the second Nashville Guitar Quartet. And I've got some film of that back from 2002, so hold tight.
Oh,
I'm going to
man.
play some for you. And John Pell, who's the 4th member, he is at a committee meeting right now just to make sure that he doesn't get elected for something. So, but I told him once he's sure he's not going to get elected, he might try to log in. So we'll see.
He's gone there to behave badly.
It's right. How about that? But John, this was how about if we play a clip from this 2002 performance at the Ryman Auditorium? That was at All Star
yeah.
Guitar Night. Yeah, and then we'll talk about how this whole thing came together.
Are you
right.
telling me this was 21 years ago?
And we look exactly the same. Here we
Yeah,
go.
that's
Check
because
this
I've
out.
already passed my expiration date.
All right, and check out who is introducing us here.
Ladies and gentlemen, the second Nashville Guitar Quartet.
Oh, man.
Tom Bresh. How about that? Yeah,
That
I
was
tell
a
you, I
lot of
remember.
fun.
yeah.
Did I see some digital interference there, or was that me going a half step sharp?
Yeah, that
That
was,
was a historic capo. You're back in time, and you're up for it.
I saw
You know,
some
I tell you,
times
one of the
from
things
the
that's
back.
fun.
I didn't even know that that was videoed at the time. I hadn't seen
yeah.
that before. I had not seen that
Oh,
before. That's great. That's a
You
lot
know
of fun.
that tune. It was Guy Van Duzer that got me listening to that tune on piano.
ah,
And
Right.
what you're listening to is stride piano, kind
James
of
P. Jones.
ragtimey sort of a thing, and James P.
Yeah.
Johnson. And then when we started putting things together, each one of the tracks on the original record, different ones of us were there for the first part. So John Pell and I played the first part, and then Chet came back and played his part, and Leona came back and played her part. So that's how the record came together. It depended on who was in town at the time, as to
well,
how the
you were
tracks went
referring to
together.
the first Nashville Guitar Quartet,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Yes,
That's where the
that
parts
was a
are coming
record.
from. Yeah.
Yeah, and so we were doing a reenactment of
That's
tunes
right,
from
yeah.
that
Yeah.
album. But I played the part of Leona Boyd
Yep.
there,
Yeah. And
and
I'm thinking now that was 21 years ago. 21 years before that would have been almost when it was first done.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah.
That just
oh,
does, that just doesn't seem right.
right.
No,
And
you're right.
Richard, of course, you played Chet Atkins' part very appropriately.
I think
Yes,
I did. Yeah, that
yes,
was,
you played all of
That's
Chet's
yeah,
what that
parts.
was.
Yeah.
And,
Well,
and I
you
tried
learned
to.
all of Chet's music when you were just a kid.
oh
That's
man,
just amazing.
my dad had a bunch of Chet and Jerry Reed records and Django Reinhardt and some Joe Pass, and now you get into everybody, but yeah, Chet was certainly mine. It still is my biggest influence. I still love to listen to those old records.
Yeah.
One of the things I was remembering as I listened to us play that is so I'm tuned down, six string is tuned down. I think everybody else is in normal tuning. Is that right? In that, I think
Yeah, I
I'm
think
the
I
only one that
was.
needed
Yeah.
to be down. And I remember the intro was like thumb, middle, and I've got a D on this string, so I've got a low D, a D, and a matching D. So
Oh, that's
that's
that
all I'm doing,
sound.
and
Yeah.
it gets that bass note going, but it also gets a dong ga ding ga ding ga ding ga ding, which is where we're all going to end up rhythmically eventually.
Right.
But I was amazed how many times I had to do something as a quartet player that I would never do as a solo player. It would like not be enough to get it going. But as long
Right.
as you realize it's not four of you going full tilt. It's like each one of you doing a slice of what turns into a very good pie. So.
Right. Yeah, it's difficult um, with just the three to four octaves to stay out of each other's way.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's the difficult part with a guitar quartet. So it's almost like, actually, I did a recent. I'm working on a project right now. It's almost finished with Rory Hoffman and Yosho Stefan.
Holy
And
smokes.
we've done this invention where Rory's on the bottom two strings, I'm on the middle two, and Yosho's on the top two. It's
Oh
just
yeah,
like that's how we were staying out of each other's way.
yeah.
Kind of thing. It's like, okay, you're going to stay there, and it's this little invention for a little bit. We got these melodies going on, so yeah. But it is. But you were playing mostly. You were the backup there. You were the left hand.
I really concentrated on playing rhythm, and what I was thinking is with the whole band playing all the time, I tried to come up with different rhythmic feels. Like that was
Yeah.
the Carolina Shout feel. The Arn West Concerto was this.
Yeah.
Chet showed me
Right.
how you could hit that on the backbeat, make a click on the
Right.
fretboard.
Right.
So each one of them though has got it, and then I've forgotten what I did. I think I just played some individual notes that went with the Skirts of Mexico that you had referred to earlier.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
So each one of them, you had to come up. But what I wanted was the whole thing to not sound the same throughout. To really vary
Right.
from tune to tune.
So,
Yeah.
John, did you do a lot of the arrangements for this?
I probably did about half of them,
Oh, really?
and then a couple of them were collaborative. John Pell did a couple of really nice ones, like "Someday My Prince Will Come"
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and "Danny Boy,"
That
I think was
beautiful.
his. And then when we got to the "Skirts of Grass," which was Shel Silverstein's tune, Chet had me arrange a solo, and then he had John Pell arrange a quartet, and then Chet wrote out a tremolo part for Leona to play, and he actually wrote it out like classic guitar music. And he
Wow.
showed me. He said, "Well, this worked for Leona," and I thought, "Okay, we all think Chet doesn't know how to do stuff." I don't know where that is now, but I imagine Leona has it. But it looks just like classic guitar music written out with that tremolo that she did. So
Yeah. We
He
have a
would have
question.
learned that.
Richard, do you play Someday My Prince Will Come? Or no?
Not really.
No, it has to be done with the whole quartet.
yeah,
That's the one. There you go.
that's pretty good for not playing it.
Yeah, pretty good for not really.
Yeah, I haven't worked it out. Somewhere I'm
Yeah,
gonna do it in a lower key. Like,
yeah. There's a lot of chords in that one. Holy smokes.
yeah,
Yeah.
got to get all the way up there. I'll have to. That's one of the tricks about arranging is arranging for solo guitar. If there's a melody that goes low and very high, it's like how long does it stay high for? And I don't want it to sound like a music box up the top.
Oh, to
Yeah.
find the right key.
You've
Yeah.
got to grab those bass notes and make them work. And when do I do an octave drop so that I'm playing the correct melody, but it doesn't sound like a music box. You've got to make
Yeah.
all these kind of compromise decisions without. You just come to those decisions. Picking the right key is the biggest thing there.
Well, for those of you who are just logging in, we have guitar royalty here. Who's been here. John Knowles, with the Fingerstyle Quarterly, and who's done all this transcriptions for Chet Atkins, and then Richard Smith here, who is many people say is one of the most brilliant guitarists anywhere on the planet. I've heard that many times from
I
many
say that.
places.
Who said that?
My mother said that, or was it your mother? That's
It was my mom.
Yeah, right. No, I have heard that
Mom certified, yeah.
many times. In fact, I see logging in here we have hello to France, hello to Hogeye, Arkansas, and New Jersey and Florida. Richard is on tour in Florida at the moment. And I have several of my students on, my Tuesday students. So tomorrow we are going to be working on Cannonball Rag, a Travis version.
Oh, yeah.
Richard, before we play the next cut of the second Nashville Guitar Quartet, can you play a little bit of Cannonball Rag for my students here?
We'll see.
Ha.
Vocal accompaniment.
The truncated.
All right, I rest my case.
Do a little.
Well, let's play a little clip here. We have a whole bunch of awesomeness coming in from greetings, and we'll play a little bit more from the second Nashville Guitar Quartet here at the Ryman Auditorium.
All right, I'm muting my mic here.
Yeah.
Oh, pretty cool, huh?
Was I
John Pell and Richard Smith. Honeysuckle Rose.
was I playing your guitar there? Because it wasn't mine. I think I was playing your guitar, Muriel, or maybe it was.
Oh, maybe
Maybe
we
it was-
swapped for that.
We might have done because we wanted it to be completely acoustic. And this is, I mean, this is acoustic as well. It's mostly a plug-in, and we had. I guess I was playing either one of yours. Maybe it was your the Australian one,
Oh, yeah, that's when I had
Could have
the
been.
John Price.
the John Price. Did
Yeah,
you
'cause that was
have
a really
You
loud
did?
guitar. Yeah. Oh, I have a new guitar. I picked up a new one in Arizona. This is a Tierra Negra model guitar.
Oh, yeah.
And my friends Leo and Rauji Tierra Negra had designed this instrument and had an expert luthier in Spain build it.
Oh.
And he's now passed away, and it's really hard to find these guitars. So when
it's
my friend
got-
Craig was selling it, yeah.
It sounded great through my phone. What you were doing earlier.
Oh, thank you. I'll
Yeah.
play a little on it so you can hear it. But
Loved it.
Oh, man.
I just have I have now an extra Tierra Negra guitar. So if anyone wants one, I guess I should probably sell it, but keep it in the family. Us, guitar playing friends.
People who care. That's
People
right.
who care. Yeah. Right. Well, I was thinking about. I've got a couple Valentine's Day shows coming up in Florida. I know Richard, you're touring there now, and so I was thinking of some of the kind of more classical pieces and maybe something like the Cuban Lullaby.
Oh yeah.
Boy,
Yeah.
that guitar really suits you. Are you just,
Oh,
is that,
you know,
is that just the mic on the computer I'm hearing right
this
now?
is just a little Samson mic. It's like the
Oh,
first
okay.
one that comes up, and if you do a search for USB mics, it's like a very cheap microphone.
You
Yeah.
might even be able to find
So
one in the trash somewhere.
it's not a real expensive one. So it's yeah, we're very low tech here.
Great, sounds great. Certainly picking up that tone.
Oh,
I
is
was,
it good? That's good.
I was noodling behind you what I could hear.
Oh yeah, it's
I was,
nice. That was
I'm
nice.
sure I was a half a beat behind.
Well, it's it was nice and flowing, so it
That's right. You get away
worked
with
into
stuff.
the lag.
That you wrote that one, right?
That's no, that was a Leo Brouwer arrangement of
Leo
a
Brouwer,
Ernesto
okay.
Grenet tune, which was based on a folk song with an entirely different melody.
You know,
That's
I
okay.
can totally hear Gershwin changes in that. There's a
Oh
lot of
Oh,
yeah,
Gershwin
yeah.
influence,
it's right.
very much.
Yeah, Brouwer had some sophisticated ideas, I think,
Yeah.
for that, and then
Broad
it was
palette, yeah.
based on that melody. Duerme negrita, que su mamá está en el campo negrita, trabajando, trabajando,
I like it. I'm liking that.
trabajando.
Like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
yeah.
liking that. You moved me there. I might have to learn that one now.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. You know,
There'll be two of us out
I
there
learned
doing
it in college. I mean, I haven't played it for years, so I don't know where it
beautiful
came from.
tune.
All of a sudden, it just fell out of my guitar. You know,
Yeah,
every now and then they come back. You know,
That's right.
yeah.
yeah. I'll figure it out. You're gonna, yeah. I'll figure it out. This is
No,
going
that's
on
right.
YouTube. Right?
Well, that Cannonball Rag that you just played just blew me away too, Richard. You know, one of these days
Well,
I'm going to have to learn it like that. You know, Caleb Coots is going to sit in on our class
Oh, good.
tomorrow.
Good.
He's the grandson of Eddie Pennington, and
I
boy, has he
believe.
learned. He's
I
really
believe.
learned from his grandpa.
I think he may be. He may be coming to the studio at some point.
Oh,
Oh,
great.
good.
I think
Yeah.
he might be doing that at some point. I'm in talks.
He's got the feel, I tell you. It's
Yeah,
just
that's
like
great.
it's like Merle Travis has come
Well,
back in this generation. You know.
I think if you grow up around it, you I don't think
That's
there's any
right. You've got it here before you try to put it here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really the feel is everything.
Yeah.
I mean, you can play the notes all day, but if you're growing up around it, it's like playing. I think any style of music, whether you grow up playing bluegrass or gypsy jazz or bebop or classical guitar or chetster, whatever you first do, you kind of sort of develop an accent. It's
That's
like
right.
me growing up with an accent, and all your technique and your feel is kind of based in that. So wherever you go from there, it's very difficult to change that. And if you start, or wherever you start off is really the guts of who you are and what you do and your technique and everything. I think.
Yeah, it's like how you really studied and studied to get that sexy British accent that you have.
That's right.
I've worked really hard on this. Yeah.
Right.
I'm really a West Virginia guy, but I've been pretending.
You fool me.
But yeah, I think that's true. I mean, flamenco. If I wanted to get into that, I'd really have to forget everything I know and start again, and it's really almost impossible to do. You really have to really try. Every little muscle movement that you do is kind of part of your accent, I think. So, and that's great. Caleb's been around it since the beginning.
Well,
so
and flamenco, what you've got is something that starts out being an accompaniment to dancers.
Yeah.
And so if you didn't grow up accompanying dancers and you try to play flamenco, you won't hear the dancers. It's
right.
It's part of it. It's like with bluegrass. If you can't hear the banjo player, you're not getting there. So
right. Yeah, all different disciplines.
Yeah, so we have some folks saying, yeah, Caleb is fantastic. He sat in on an earlier class when we did Bluebell.
Yes.
Yeah. That's right. Charming tune, isn't it?
It is a beautiful. Was that an old wartime tune? Was it World War II? World War?
It's older than that.
Civil War, I think.
Pre-Civil War, yeah.
Yeah.
The thing about Merle, and again, the real Merle players have it at the heart there. I mean, I'm just kind of faking it there, but
Yes.
instead of like what Chet was doing, it's more like
Right. That little swipe with the thumb.
that kind of thing. It's a little bit of a different feel there.
Right. So tomorrow at my class, I'm going to be donning a thumb pick and playing on a steel string with where did it go? I think I put it away. With that swipe, Yeah.
Where
So
are
that
Are you doing workshops?
Yeah, with a two finger. Yeah, the Travis style. So we're gonna do it that way. In fact, if you want to join one of the classes sometime, I should let people know. Just email me through my website.
Now,
My Tuesday class is great.
Online
just
class?
great. Yeah,
These are online classes.
online classes. Yeah. It's through String Masters, and John knows you're going to be starting with String Masters
probably
soon.
be April or May somewhere in there. I'll be all set up to do that.
Okay.
I think
Great.
I taught with Muriel on one of those, and I realized how good that setup is, the interaction and so forth. And they've got a real good system for their home base for all the logistical and internet stuff. And then we just show up and be musicians and teachers. So.
Oh, I might have to get into that.
Yeah. Okay, we'll have another one. Right.
I'm on the road so much. I've got to bring my mobile recording rig, or I've got to get a mobile recording
There
rig.
we go.
Well, my studio is at home, and I'm thinking, hang on, I'm at home. I'm on the road. My studio's at home. How do I record? So it's time. I think it's
That's
time
it.
for me
That's it.
to get a good work, and that I can record all the live gigs and do a live album.
Oh yeah, sure. You can do it. Well, let me play another track here from the Second Nashville Guitar Quartet. John, you were talking about the last tune that we did. Did you finish what you were saying? We kind of went off on another direction.
I think so. It was
Okay,
years
right.
ago. I've forgotten.
All
Must
right.
have been profound. I forgot it.
Yes, that's right. Okay, here it comes. Here's the next one.
Yes.
by Manuel Ponce.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And
Beautiful
yeah.
piece of music. You know, and I hadn't heard the original until after I heard that version.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't familiar with it, and then I kind of started looking it up. It's just, it's a beautiful piece of music.
Yes. John, you're muted there. We're not hearing you. Yeah. There we go.
What we
So,
did. Chet
there
really
you go.
played the whole thing just like it was written, but then he kind of wanted to get that different groove to it, you know. And then what I did is, I see it here. I have a piece of rubber foam under the strings so that
Oh,
my
yeah.
strings sound like this. But then I also, where is it? And what I am, I'm in the middle of the string, plus it's muted. So what you hear
Oh,
is, and I'm riding the fret.
Right.
So
yeah.
I'm on top of it. So that
Yeah.
it's like,
Like a double mute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then the next one is, so
Yeah. It's a
that
different
everybody
sound.
eventually builds that chord,
Yeah.
which sets up moving to that key. A lot of times, my contribution to the arrangement would be saying, what's the intro, the turnaround, and the outro? Because that's the thing that made it be a little different from one tune, you know, to the next.
I liked what Chet did with the title. So originally it was called
Yes.
Scherzino Mexicano, but he retitled it Skirts of Mexico.
Skirts of Mexico, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had recorded that in a studio with Chet, and he played, I think, the best solo I had ever heard him play on anything, all of
Wow.
his albums, and that. And when I left the session, I asked for a rough mix, and the engineer said, "No, no, I'm tired. I'm not going to do a rough mix." And I begged him. He said he wouldn't do a rough mix. So finally, when I came back later on, I finally had a place to put it. Finally had a record project for it. So I said, "Okay, I've got a place for this project. Can you mix it now?" And he said, "Oh, I think I recorded over that." He lost the tape. Oh my
You are
gosh!
kidding.
Yes. So it was, yeah, it was
Oh,
this fantastic session, and it was lost. So
And
that's one of the,
there are other things in there that are recorded over. Chet was, back then, tape was expensive, you know.
yeah,
So they would,
right,
you know,
like
well,
the
it's
TV stations would record over, you know, so.
yeah.
let's dwell on that for a little longer.
Yeah. I'll tell you, when we were doing one of the tunes that's on this album, the one about Boston, Bound for Boston,
Oh, yeah.
and so we had the thing down, and there's the place where Chet and John Pell are going to play fours and eights back and forth. So John had recorded his part,
I remember that. Yeah.
and Chet was going to come in and do his part, and I'm the engineer that day, you know. So
Okay.
so Chet says, you know, I think I'd do this better if John did it live. So now we're erasing John's part, right? And we're erasing Chet's part, and they played that thing 20 times, and every
Yeah.
time I erased the one before.
Oh,
Because that's I didn't know how to switch. We didn't have enough tracks, you know.
Yeah.
And so the one you hear on there is the one we kept. But I keep thinking, oh man, I threw away so much stuff that day, and I kept wanting to not hit that record button. You know?
oh, well, that was the one. Well,
Yeah, that was the one, and it's great, you know. Yeah.
I remember hearing that. Yeah, I mean, I grew up on that stuff, and yeah,
Mm-hmm.
those solos are in my head, John. I can hear them right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
The other thing I remember was mixing, and you got to remember this long ago, there's no Pro Tools, none of that stuff. You know, everything is faders. You know, so when we got to that Brandenburg Concerto movement,
Oh, beautiful. Yeah.
we had everybody on there, but they were in different places because we didn't do it all at once. And so Chet and I had to choreograph which faders to ride and duck to get the whole thing out. So there is no automation. We're the automation. And we did it about 4 times until we were riding the
So
faders
was
right.
this was pre-automation, or automation
Yeah.
would have been just very new at
Oh.
that time? Or
Yeah.
wow, amazing. So you know, well, I remember. You know, there's a great documentary about Tom Dowd, The Language of Music.
Hmm.
If anyone out there has seen it, if you haven't seen it, it's great. It came out in 2002. Tom Dowd, The Language of Music. Tom's a great engineer and producer. He actually invented the fader as opposed to the knob fader.
Yeah.
invented
Oh.
that stuff because he was an engineer. He worked on the Manhattan Project, but he was also a musician.
Oh
So
my gosh.
his
Wow.
expert knowledge in electronics and him being a musician kind of led him to be a cutting edge, not just a recording engineer, but a real electronics recording engineer. He was one of
Yeah.
those guys inventing that stuff. And he mixed, I mean, he was working on Layla, you know, as Derek
Yeah.
and the Dominoes. He did that. And I remember him doing a mix in the studio. Part of the documentary is him 10 fingers on the faders and he's riding each one and doing a live performance, as it were, because that, you know,
Yeah.
back in those days, you had to ride those faders. It was a performance. And
Yeah.
then, you
The
know, the
mixing
way
is
I
like a
used to do,
conductor. Yeah.
right. You know, what I used to do before automation was I would do mix back. So you'd mix, if I had a spare two tracks, I would be mixing two back to two tracks stereo. So if I wanted to change the mix, I would change the mix, then do a punch. So you'd actually punch in the mix into the new mix.
Oh man.
That's what I was doing. I didn't know there was a term for that. I thought, well, I mean, I figured I hadn't come up with it, but I was, you know, I'm going to, you know, route all of these mixes to these two channels. So I was, you know, if that guitar needed to come down, then all I would do is I'd bring it down to that level, and when it was time for it to go down, now I'd do the punching. So it's just a cross-faded mix. It's that's how I was doing it.
Oh, interesting. There was a video out at some point called the Engineer, and it showed this mixing engineer, you know, jumping around doing all these faders, leaping across the board, and you see this, and with this girl sitting there singing in there, and then at one point he clicks, you know, and it's this beautiful sound. At one point he clicks the, you know, delete all effects, and there's this. And you could hear she's singing all out of tune and terrible. And then he clicks it back, and then it's this beautiful thing again.
Right.
It's very funny.
I remember that commercial. I can't remember what it was. A commercial.
Yeah, it was.
You know.
Well,
talk
I want to
about-
say, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I was going to say, Richard's description of how he's juggling everything to make it work. In the early days, Chet showed me how to cut tape with a razor blade.
Oh, man.
To put two takes together, you know, and he showed me how to do that, and he said, "Yeah," he said, "I owe my early career to a thumb pick and a razor blade." And you could just see him wanting to get the result he wants, and he has to play it and then assemble it, you know. So
Yeah, I recorded my heartstrings recording with a razor blade.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was all edited with a razor blade at the WFMT studios in Chicago.
I remember you telling me, John, that Chet would play to a metronome. He would, if there was a part that he wanted to get, he would play it 4 or 5 times, and then he knew he would be able to cut and paste, and the tempos would be the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I tell you, when he was cutting things with a razor blade too, he had a place on his wall where all the pieces that he cut out would go back. He said, because sometimes you realize you've made a mistake. And so undo, which today means go back and get those pieces and glue them back in.
Oh,
So every piece was labeled until the project was done, you know, in
Yeah.
case he had to reassemble.
that's a painstaking
Yeah.
process. Really.
I remember the pieces on the wall. Yeah, that's how we did it too.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Unbelievable.
And that's the album that went up with Space Shuttle Discovery or Space Shuttle Endeavour. Yeah,
Yes.
the heartstrings. You know, the one that was done with the razor blade.
Wow.
And it's so long ago, right?
Right.
Well, if you have any questions for John or Richard before we start to wind down, go ahead and put them in the text. Otherwise, we'll go back and say some greetings and answer some questions. You know, on the either Facebook or YouTube chat site. We can do that individually.
While people are thinking of questions, I'll pick up on something Richard said
Yeah.
about having an accent on your early exposure to music.
Yeah.
And this project really shows it. I grew up on 2 things, church music and my dad's classical music record collection. And so when it came time to do this project, I was really thinking like an orchestrator as much as anything else. That voice was the one I brought to the project, I think, you know.
Yeah. Well, John, can you play something for us here? I want to see how your guitar is sounding.
Oh, man,
Yeah.
I think pretty good.
Hey, John.
Yeah.
There was one thing I loved Well, I know you may have something in mind, but there was
Yeah.
I remember the name of the song. Oh, it was an ocean or over the sea or something
Oh,
about.
oh yeah, Turning Home. I'll see if I can play a bit of that one. Yeah,
Is that it?
this. Boy, it's hard to play with headphones on here. See. Uh,
Yeah,
Oh, it's
I
beautiful.
love that.
And
That is
John, where
so.
did that tune come from?
well, I wrote part of it like this, and then I would like the next part would just be, and I realized each part got a little longer. The phrases were getting longer in length, and so that kind of made me thinking of ocean, like tide and
What
stuff
is
like
what is
that.
the title of that one again, John?
Turning Home.
Turning Home.
That title, it took me 2 years to assemble the whole thing. Uh, and this part right here is like a buoy.
Ah,
So a big ship out on the ocean, it turns around and it's headed back to port. It's like the picture. And then
Oh,
this,
lovely.
that's that classical. Those stacked fifths is like how orchestras do ocean in the
right.
movies all the time. So
And
I
it
stole all
almost
these little tricks.
it almost sounds like a round in
Yes,
certain aspects of it. You know.
that's
Yeah,
right.
it does.
Yeah, it is. That's kind of got this going for it. I
Right.
remember when I first played it in progress. Chet said, "I see you've written something for your Welsh ancestors,"
Yeah.
and my mom would always say, "Play that one I like. You know which one." So I realized it was getting interest. But for a long time I didn't have it all put together. And then I think one of the last things I added was this for an intro. That's just if you hear that and you picture the ocean in a movie, then here comes a big ship, a sailing ship, not an ocean liner, So
Is that that's on YouTube somewhere, isn't it? You doing it?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
You
If
know,
not,
you know
I'll
I'm
put it up
stealing that
there.
one as well.
Well, John, Christine texts in that she would like to learn that tune, and she wants to know if
Beautiful.
it's available and how she can learn it.
It is, and I tell you, it's either in one of my quarterlies or I may have done it on my True Fire lessons. So I'll send Muriel a note so she can share it with the crew.
Oh, okay, we'll do
But
that.
it is all written down. Yeah, you can learn it. Yeah.
And we should say hello to our Florida friends I see who are saying hi. Richard is there
Yes.
right now. And Richard, how can people find out where you're playing?
You know what? RichardSmithMusic.com is where they can find out just about everything that I want people to know about me.
Oh, okay.
And it will be
All right.
updated shortly, even if it's not completely up to date. I keep it
And I will,
relatively up to
yeah,
date.
great, great. I'll be following Richard. I'm heading out to towards Florida. I'll be in Georgia Thursday and Friday, and then
All right.
heading out to Florida thereafter. So hopefully we can get together. We'll look and see where we are, and maybe one of our free days or something.
Well,
Look up.
my website is kind of out of date with some true information on it, but you can send me an email just at John Knowles CGP, all one word, JOHNKNOWLESCGP @gmail.com. So if you're looking for some of this music or that kind of thing or what we're up to,
Yeah.
And all of us will be out there a bunch this summer. I know the workshops are coming back around. And
Oh man, I'll be
Yeah.
doing Rocky Mountain Guitar Camp. We'll be
Yes.
Oh,
Mhm.
yeah.
I'll be doing Tommy Emmanuel's camp in Nashville. I'll be doing Martin Taylor's camp in the Catskills.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Oh,
That'll be a lot of fun.
I'll do it Rocky Mountain and at Tommy's camp. And then I'll be there for the Chet Atkins convention.
right.
I don't know
Yeah.
if all of you guys will be there for that.
I should be there for a day, I think.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll
no,
be doing Andy
I'll be there
McKee's
for a couple of
workshop.
days.
You know,
I am
other
in
thing-
the Villages tomorrow.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And where you'll be?
I will be in the Villages.
The Villages. Ah,
Yeah, the Villages, Florida. I've got
Okay.
a workshop at 9 a.m. tomorrow, and then a concert at 7 p.m. at Bridgeport Community Center.
all right. Well, we'll sign off with the one more cut from the Nashville Guitar
Oh,
Quartet.
okay.
And as Valentine's Day is coming up, we are doing a fudge giveaway this year again. So go to my website; you'll see about that, murielanderson.com. Or you can email me at muriel@murielanderson.com. That's top secret. Don't tell anyone. And Richard, how about you? Are you doing anything special for Valentine's Day?
Nothing.
Oh,
Gigging, I
you
think.
you have the day
Am I
off.
gigging? I may even have the day off. 11, 12, 13, 14. I think I've got the day off.
Oh, well, you'll have to come to my little gig. I'm playing some music store with Andy Wahlberg. Andy Wahlberg's going to join me on Valentine's Day. So now, if that's going to be romantic, right?
Where is that? Valentine's Day. It's at the.
That's near Naples.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Very
okay.
cool.
We'll
So
we'll
my-
be coordinating our schedule in
There you go.
in a bit. Yeah.
So my Valentine plan is a secret, which is to say I better get busy and think of something.
Great. Well, we can continue this going. And the one more question that we had was, can you all do this again sometime?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Great. Great. All right. Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
I heard from Gail Troll, Music in Venice, is where I'll be on Valentine's Day. Yep. All
Oh,
right,
yeah, I'll
thank
be
you.
for music. I'll be there in March. 11th,
Oh, okay.
11th or 18th, one of the two. I think it's 11th.
All right. Well, they have good taste then in performers.
Exquisite.
All right. Well, we'll see you again soon. Let's do this again.
Thank
And
you,
here's
Muriel.
a
Thanks,
second
John.
Nashville Guitar Quartet.
Good to see you.
right. So long.
Oh man, that was great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. This was
Thank
really
you.
fun.
Thank you, John. See you next time.